Hello, the internet, and welcome back to the live stream. It is Saturday, the 9th of February 2020, and today I will be live for 89 minutes, if tech allows. Of course, we have to factor in the tech. We have to allow for the tech. Allow AFTT. We've got an AFTT, allow for the tech, right? Anything could go wrong with the tech. I think it's going okay right now. Please let me know if there's anything going AWire right now. I'm still a little bit reluctant here on the OBS streaming to YouTube, but I feel like maybe everything's hunky-dory. I can see the stream running on my secondary monitor. I can see the chat here. I think we're going well. Let me just make sure though, if anything's wrong, please let me know. Aside from this hideous head, if there's anything wrong with this stream, flag it in the chit chat and I'll get to it when we do get to the chit chat. You know I read all of the chat messages. This is more and more about a conversation with you people and me. The harder it becomes to play on YouTube, the more we've got to open this up to conversations between all of us. So for today, for instance, we haven't done it yet since I've been using the laptop for the stream, but I think we should open up the call-in lines because that's how we can get a conversation really firing. It's a shame that's the way it's got to be on YouTube. And you know me and my discussion about DLive versus YouTube. Here on YouTube, it's a very, very difficult place to live stream because of all these regulations. I want to raise something with you momentarily from last week's stream. I kind of want to get into the chat and I'll address this because it does touch into the conversation we had in the chit chat. But do you remember last week we did the hottest 15? So the hottest 15 was, for those that didn't know, was a countdown of 15 songs that you guys voted for on the DLive. So you guys made, you didn't even know you were doing it, but you made selections throughout the year, since August all the way through to December, and these are bands that somehow relate to me. So often they'd be bands that are not signed, bands that don't have record deals. Sometimes it was bands that are signed. I worked with a whole variety of bands, right? So on some instances it would be like a mainstream band. Other times it would be, you know, my friends' bands. I knew that when we rolled that content, I would have to take the audio off those mainstream bands and replace it with something generic, right? Some default soundscapes to avoid copyright flagging. And get this, you are gonna find this ridiculous. I did that. I took, what track was it? It was a Tracer one, right? It was a Tracer song. Now, you might say, well, Tracer are your friends, man. How can they claim it? It's not Tracer claiming it. It's the record label they were signed to, right? So it's nothing to do with the boys in Tracer. So just forget that. But anyway, I knew that those songs were flagged. So I removed the tune and I put in there, I think on that one, it was the acoustic version of Voice in the Rain from, what's the place in Kerrang radio station in the UK. So this was an acoustic version, not even the record version, acoustic version. Even that gets flagged. So I removed it and I put in its place, I put the sound of basketball playing, the sound of a train coming, like a train pulling into a station, an underground station, and the train moving out. All those sounds were lifted from the free-to-use, royalty-free, copyright-free sound bank here, or not here, in Final Cut Pro. I'm on OBS right now, on Final Cut Pro. And you can bet your... How long are we into this stream? Can I swear yet? You can bet your freaking ass what happened. Those sounds got claimed. The sound of the train and basketball, not even one audio file, but actually I had a siren, like a police siren, 3 audio files layered together, dragged and shifted, so they're not all starting on the same time. 3 different audio layers playing underneath the track. Some absolute tool claimed it as their own song. They claimed that as a song. And so therefore, my entire stream, all 87 minutes last week, 88 minutes, today's 89, all 88 minutes of my stream got claimed. Tim says there's a slight lag of audio. Interesting, Tim. Tell me how bad the lag is. I can fix it on the fly. I'm going to just change it right now. I got a 40 millisecond offset there. I'll change it to 30. See if that's better for you. Let me know. I'll check again when I hear from you in the comments. So they took the entire. Actually, I gotta back up a little. The earnings from that stream went into a place called escrow. Now I didn't know what escrow was. Clap again. Mindy's in the chit chat. G'day, Mindy. Good to see you, Mindy. I'm gonna get to the chat. So yeah, they claimed, or the entire stream got flagged, and all of the earnings get put into an escrow account. But the real clincher there is, when you get a copyright flag like that, it's up to me to reply back and say, no, that's not right. In fact, this is royalty-free audio, and I use 3 different tracks, and they're not even a song. Like, the point is, YouTube have facilitated this to be easy for someone to do. So we might not even be looking at a record company here. We might be looking at a kid with a computer setting up multiple bot accounts to claim things and keep earning that. Well, okay, in this case it went into the escrow account, but it doesn't actually. It looks more like the audio is ahead of the visual. Okay, and Mindy says, I don't see a lag. I just pulled the chat up there, folks. Mindy says, I don't see a lag. So what's happening now? Tim, you're seeing a lag, but nobody else is. Now, this is where live streaming becomes very interesting, because Tim says the audio is ahead of the visual, so that means I've gone the wrong way, but Mindy says it's completely fine. So what is it? What was with that? Did you see the clap, or did you hear the clap first? The clap. You need to clap a few times. I've only changed one thing though. I'm only going to change one thing and then clap again. I'm not going to clap multiple times. That was Jay Roston doing he did it. That was so funny when Jay was testing his stream. He's like, okay, I'll do a clap. It's like, dude, you know the idea of a clap is to see when you make contact with 2 hands and the audible sound, they got to marry up. If you do this, you can't tell which one was which. Audio is ahead, Mindy says. Okay, audio is ahead. So you guys heard the clap before you saw the clap. Well, then I've gone the wrong way. Thank you very much, folks. I'll fix this. This is all a bit of learning to get OBS running how we like it. So that means I've gone the wrong way. If audio is ahead, so you heard the clap and then you saw the clap. Okay. I'm going to change it to 50 milliseconds. I went from 40 down to 30. Now I've gone back up to 50. So check this out. How did that work for you? That should have been a bit better. Thank you very much, Aero Gamer. Thank you, Mindy. Let's go back up and read the chit chat, because like I said, this is a conversation between all of us here. That's how these streams are going to roll from here on in. Where's my mouse? Here we go. Back up to the very top. DLE was up there in the front. Thank you, DLE. I appreciate your support from down there in Victoria Town. I said, good morning. How are you? I'm feeling good. I'm a little annoyed at the storm front, though. We've got a pretty big storm front coming through here. Mindy says perfect. Thank you very much, Mindy. We've got a big storm front coming through. You will see it on my wave a day from yesterday, the super quick wave a day edits coming up momentarily on the stream. That storm front has really kicked through, really, and it's big. There's like, I'm going to show you, I'm going to be able to bring up my phone here, and I'm going to show you just how nasty the ocean's looking. We'll get to that at some point, though. Today and tomorrow, today's big and tomorrow's even bigger in terms of the swell. Now, I'm still going to go out for my wave a day, but I'm not going to paddle out to the back. I'm going to just sit into the white water and try to take something just to get a wave. That's it. And that's me sticking to my freaking rules, but I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to kill myself for the rules. DLE, I asked if DLE's got a new avatar, and she didn't know what I meant, and I was referring to the little YouTube avatar on the left, and now she gets it. Cool. We're talking a little bit about YouTube in that chat, me and DLE. She says, I used to watch a lot of YouTube, but now I just don't watch more people. Now I don't, comma. I just watch more people on Twitch and DLive. YouTube just changes things constantly, and I don't like that because they put bugs in the app. That's a very good point, DLE. I'm really wondering, and Paula's in the chit chat. G'day, Paula. How do you do? Good morning. I'm really wondering what YouTube are going to do once the studio beta is just the studio beta. Once it comes out of beta and it physically hits the shelves and it's the thing, what are they going to do? Okay, folks, here it is. It's all running perfectly. Use it. I don't think they will. I think they'll continue to tweak it and they'll continue to manipulate it. And here's my thoughts, right? I feel like YouTube do this to try to appear like they're doing something, to try to make it like they're saving face, if you like. They're trying to like, well, we listened to you folks and you wanted more analytics. You wanted to know how you could get your video in front of more eyes. So we gave you all the analytics you could possibly need. But here's the thing. We know, I know, you know, everybody knows, there is nothing you can do to make a video get in front of more eyes. The only way a video can get shown to more people is if YouTube do that. YouTube do that on your behalf. You make the content, you upload it, it's out of your hands then. Doesn't matter how much analytics they give you. You're compared to A/B thumbnail testing from 2 months ago, this video got 12% more views. Well done. Continue to make thumbnails like this. It's got nothing to do with that. YouTube decide somewhere in their little royalty house, they decide that's the content we're going to promote. We'll give all these analytics. We'll make them feel like we're helping them, but we're going to promote this, this, and this. And you can see that very clearly by the trending tab on YouTube. What kind of content are they promoting? What kind of content are they pushing to the top? Very confusing. We had this discussion on D Live last night. They're promoting, arguably, they're promoting the channels that do not need the promotion. What's the names of your guys, the big news presenters, Stephen Colbert and the late shows and all that crap? I was speculating last night on D Live. Do these people need exposure on YouTube? Do they need a platform on YouTube? Now, don't forget what YouTube is and what it was meant to be. YouTube is a place where you, me, anybody who's nobody, me, could get a platform. We don't need to use mainstream television. We don't need to approach a huge production house. We don't need to approach a massive studio lot where we can go and rent space out for $800 a month and put out a show and it goes on to cable or some community cable television network. We don't need that because you have the tube. We have YouTube. So anybody can be a producer, anybody can be a director, anybody can be an on-screen personality on YouTube. So then why do they promote people that already have that? Why do they promote the Colberts and the David Lettermans? They already have their thing on the networks. They've already got the multi-million-dollar contracts to sit in front of a camera and pump that content out across the terrestrial airwaves and through the internet on their own websites. But why do they need to be on YouTube? Because that was a place where you don't need that. Instead, you have this. You have your own setup, right? You have a beautiful room with a light and a glass of water, and you can be, we'll be right back. And you can do your own thing, right? This is, as far as I was aware, this was YouTube. But whenever I look at that trending tab and I see bloody Will Smith and the likes of those crew that are getting promoted, it's like, well, they don't really care about you. They don't really care about the YouTube that was YouTube. Now, you could say, gives a minute. That was the good old days of YouTube. It's changed. And I acknowledge that. Things always have to change. They have changed. It's a shame. What does that mean for YouTube, for people like me? They go elsewhere. They won't persist with this. Now, you've heard me say this many, many times. I will constantly be here on YouTube. I will do this live stream once a week, but I will also promote myself elsewhere, aka D Live. I will continue to pump my D Live channel. I will pump the content there. I do daily streams over on D Live. I will never stop streaming here on YouTube, but what I'm saying is this pushes me that way. Speaking of that way, in the chit chat, there's a link to my YouTube, to my D Live stream. If you want to go ahead and have a look, I do daily content there. It's a real shame. It's a real shame. That's how I see it. I may have got that wrong. I may not be I know I'm not the source and I'm not the Philly D here. I'm not the one to give you the news, but from a creator's perspective, that's what I see. Whenever I get that little notification saying, as a new video from Creator Insider, and it's all about A/B testing, and we've given you more feedback in your dashboard. It's like, you know what? I don't want any of that feedback. I don't give a rat's ass about how that thumbnail performed. I don't care how many triangular views from impressions to click through to. I don't give a shit about that triangle, because you people behind YouTube, you're the ones that determine where my video gets shown, not me. That triangle, that little upside down triangle means nothing because you guys decide. And I've got the absolute proof of that, right? Like why back in 2020, back in 2018, 2017, why did my snorkel video smash it to the likes of 1.2 million views? Why did that snorkel video go haywire? Well, that's because YouTube put it in front of way more people's eyes. Okay. Why don't they do that with more of my videos? I don't know, man, but check out your thumbnails, check out your AB, check out your triangle, check out your impressions. No, none of that shit was relevant back then, and you guys promoted it, so why can't you do it again? And for that matter, why can't you do it for all the small creators? Why do we need to constantly see Casey Neistat in the trending? Why do we constantly need to see these massive creators, the I forget this guy, the Canadian guy, what's his name? The photographer. I always stumble his name, not Philip McKinnon. Peter McKinnon, Philip McKinnon. I'm thinking of Philip DeFranco. Why do we constantly need to see him up there? They've already got the 30 million subscribers or whatever they've got. They don't need it. The small creators need it. And they get it sometimes, but there's no real rhyme or reason to it. That's what we were talking about up in the chit chat. So, thank you for raising that, DLE. Okay. And I said all the changes YouTube think are beneficial are actually doing nothing more than pushing people off the platform. And I mean, that's a given, right? And I said I stopped watching the Creator Insider channel as it seems like all it is, it's about how you as a creator can do better, but it's just YouTube who make that decision. It's nothing to, like you can make the best content possible, but if YouTube don't put it in front of people's eyes, you will tank. I got a comment this week on my channel saying, it's a shame. No, the comment said something like, you do such a good variety of content. It's a shame the algorithm's burying you. And I was like, yeah, I know it's a shame, but what can I do aside from continuing to make the content? It's out of my hands. Like I don't have an algorithm tool to dig in there and say, here's what I need to do. Nobody has that. You'll hear people like Daryl Eves and Roberto Black, and you'll hear all these guys tell you, I know the secret. I know how to get you more views. They don't. They know how to make a business based off that problem, but they don't have a solution. They're selling a false promise. And there is no way to remedy it. I tell you one way. I'll tell you one way to remedy it. In my mind, become very good friends with someone who's popping. Become friends with Stephen Colbert. Become friends with Casey Neistat. Become friends with Shane Dawson. Anyone up there that's already on that ride that YouTube are in bed with, loving, become friends with them. Get in their videos, because all those videos that if you happen to fall into friendship with Shane Dawson and he puts you in a video, you can guarantee that his 12 million subscribers, 10 million of them will come across to your channel. That's a way to do it. And they'll keep promoting Shane Dawson. Of course they will. And I kept saying, I'll always be here on YouTube, but the enjoyment has become less and less. That's exactly what it is. And then Tim joined the chit chat. G'day, Tim. Tim Araskog. And I asked him what the weather's doing for you, Tim, because right here it's warm and it's hectic. It's big swells, lots of rain. Tim says, I see my chat comment from 5:30 this morning has disappeared. The weather is not bad. 28 degrees, no rain. 81% humidity. Wow, that's hot, man. That's muggy. DLE, excuse me. So they're talking about where they live in Melbourne. I don't want to dox anybody, but if you want to read the chit chat, you can find out where Tim and DLE live. Aero Gamer, hi everyone. There you go. Paula, hi David. David Pretty Bread. Hey, David in the chit chat. David, how do you do, man? All the way from Ireland. Folks, David is the gentleman who won the snorkel mask, the ViewTech full face snorkel mask. David, I see you received it, and I saw your tweet. How's it going? Are you gonna get in the water soon? I'm pretty pumped to see it. Tim says clapping just once can be hard to clearly pick the timing issue. Not at all, man. That's the only way to do it. You're telling me that's the better way to do it? Get out of here. That's a stupid way to do it. Paula, evening, Paula. I saw on the news there'll be 6.5 meter waves. Yeah, dudes. I'm gonna bring my phone into the stream and have it on screen, and I'm gonna show you the app. It looks nasty, extremely sketchy, to the point where I don't want to kill myself, but I do want to get a wave. But I'm not going out the back and waiting for a 6 meter wave. Hell no. That's 20 feet. Yeah, it's big. It's going to be huge here. I'll show it to you, Tim. It's going to be huge. They said Sydney might get it as bad as 2016. It's coming from the north. So there'll be lots of beach loss. Yeah. YouTube, Tim says, YouTube keep recommending videos I've already seen. Quite annoying. Would those big waves be near Culburra Beach? Yeah, we're getting it here. We're getting it here. It's at the moment, possibly should have been the time I'm out there surfing. The longer I wait today, the bigger it's getting. And then tomorrow, it's going to be massive. Like, wow. I was actually thinking about pulling the pin and just taking 2 days off. I kind of haven't decided exactly yet. I wouldn't... Is it worth me going into the whitewater, standing up to here, and just getting up on one wave and saying, there's my wave a day. That's what I'll be doing today and tomorrow. I'm not paddling out over the breakers. Not at a 6 meter swell. Hell no. It's safer, Paula says, it's safer and more profitable to boost the mainstream. And then Paula says Paula's in Germany, in Berlin, the German trending tab is appalling, total junk. Mindy says, oh, it's a great stream too, D-Live, she really enjoys it. And I really love having you over there, Mindy. I know the timing, this stream here is better for you timing-wise, but as we roll, the times will get better as we move on. Maybe Benon is rubbing off on YouTube, and that's why YouTube is now so negative. Rubbing off. Tim. Is that an Uncle Tim comment? Maybe I'm rubbing off? What the hell is that about, dude? Benny Crawford, good morning or good evening, folks. Good morning, Benny. Good to see you, my friend. What's the swell like at your end of the wood? I'd like to know. We're getting scared down here. Morning, Benny. You should go full bogan and shirtless. That will do it. Paula. I mean, I do that. I go shirtless on my content, so there's nothing wrong with going shirtless, is there? Tim, you mean a Canadian didn't win a mask for once? Yeah, Tim. You know what? That's funny, isn't it? Because Happy Canadian was in there in the winnings and he didn't win for the first time. It's Muggy for Melbourne, says Aero Gamer. Tim, Benon, I meant clapping slowly, not quickly like you were. Oh, you mean like this? I mean, yeah, that's more than one clap. I get it. But when Jay was doing it, he was like, okay, I need to do... He goes, I need to do an audio clap to make sure we're in sync. I was like, what? Who... Does he not even understand what the audio clap is for? And yet if I say something to him, hey dude, you might be doing that slightly, I'm the bad guy, right? I'm the bad guy for criticizing someone that's doing something completely wrong and I can help? That makes me the bad guy? Get out of here. David says, pretty soon, April, the water air temperature is 8 degrees. Whoa, man, that's cold in Ireland. If I was you, David, and I'm sure you do this, I'd be taking some whiskey to the beach, having a few whiskeys, and then getting in that water. That's what I'd be doing. Time to drive and listen. Got to pick up the youngest. No worries, Tim. I understand you did mention that you'd have to split. No worries, Tim. Have a good listen. We'll be here. We'll be talking. We'll be chit-chatting. Benny Crawford. Yeah, the days later in the month, know your limits. Do the days later in the month, know the limits. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe today and tomorrow could be one of those days where it's like, all right, folks, I've got to make an assessment here. I don't want to kill myself for the sake of a shitty wave. Benny's got waves are good, lots of rain. I'll go and check it though. I'll go and check it, of course. Tim says rubbing off, as in when someone's personality rubs off upon another's person. Okay. Chris Tamulovich, your video looks good here. East Coast, USA. Hey, Chris. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the stream. I don't think we've seen you before. Nice to have you here. Everyone gets a cheers when they join the chit-chat. That's a cheers for you, my friend. Chris from the East Coast of the USA. Well, good to have you. What part of the East Coast are you in? I watch a surfer from little south New Jersey. I'll watch Ben Gravy. I don't know if you watch Ben Gravy. He's a great guy. Great content. But speaking of surfing, folks, I did go for my wave a day yesterday. So there's surfing content on my YouTube channel. Now, let me just say, the beginning of the storm started yesterday. So we've got this storm coming through now and tomorrow. And what you're about to see is the beginning of it. And then when we come back, I want to show you what's going to happen here in terms of the weather. So enjoy the super quick wave a day edit.
Welcome back to the
Super quick wave a day edit.
Holy crap! Folks, it just smashed down with rain. Absolutely hammered down. I'm out there surfing. My iPad's on the beach. Everything's getting hammered with water. I try to take a wave to come in. I kook myself. I come fanging up the beach. Thankfully, a rad gentleman had covered the iPad with my towel. But I mean, that's the end of the wave a day for today. Holy crap! Did I do any good out there? What do you think? But you know me, I don't want to be the judge. How about you decide?
Eye for an eye, and we'll all go blind. A man once said this, and he would rise, and he would rise. Held in our hands, and willows were weeping. What happened to tomorrow when I can't even seize the day?
Well, good morning, Friday. Holy moly, that was a tough paddle. I am still recovering. That's a 9-minute paddle. Holy, 6 minutes. Upside down 6. 6-minute paddle, still pretty hectic. I'm so tired. Heart is pounding. All right, let's get my breath back. There's definitely some little sneaky A-frames coming through here. I'm getting wobbled all over my board. There should be something good here, hopefully. All right.
Let's do the right thing. Let's show the world so the world can see. Held in our hands, and the mothers stopped weeping.
Well, there you go. A little, not a little, that was a large wave. That was a left. Felt nice.
He would rise, and he would rise. Held in our hands, and willows were weeping. What happened to tomorrow when I can't even seize the day?
Well, that was fun, but wow, I got caught on the inside again, trying to paddle out. I think I was in there longer than 6 minutes this time. Wow, that really, really wiped me out. I'm back out here. I'm gonna go for another wave, but I tell you, if I get the wave all the way in or far enough, I'm not paddling back out. That was too much. Wow. Really struggled to get back out here. There's a blue bottle. It's going that way, thankfully. It's going that way with the wind. And it's raining now. What?
Talks about it.
I gotta go in. The iPad's not waterproof. It's hammering down.
Show the world so the world can see. And the mothers stop weeping.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot. So fun. That was smashing down. That came down like so quickly. Hope you're all right, buddy. Hope this is okay. Oh shit, sure, Captain. What? That came down so fast. Holy crap. If you like pina colada. Yes, I like pina colada. Wow, what an ending. What a wave a day. What a way to end it. I'm out there trying to paddle back, get myself a third wave. It's smashed down with rain. Absolutely hammered down. I don't know how well I did out there. 2 okay rides, I suppose. But hey, if you like seeing me get absolutely hammered and rained on, come back tomorrow for Wave a Day Part 8. So how did I do? Did I get anything decent out there? Anything at all? Now look, while I lay here and think about and get caught in the rain, you guys can go back to the live stream.
Oh, it's smashing down. Crikey. Is it still raining? Oh shit! Sorry folks, I was just trying to protect myself from the rain. It's not raining inside. This was just a gag, a silly gag to come back from the video with. Now I'm gonna pop the umbrella away. But that's what we're dealing with, folks. That was the beginning of the storm, and the storm is definitely rolling itself all over this place. I kind of haven't decided whether I'm gonna actually surf or not today. Those conditions that you just saw, they were kind of large. Yeah, I'm not 100% certain. I'm gonna go down and I'll try to do something, right? But I'm not gonna paddle out to the back. So everybody's talking about where they live. Chris, by the way, Chris, I got your pronunciation correct on your surname. That might have been a fluke. Tamilovich, or is that have I just been able to nail that? I mean, I have traveled quite a lot through Europe, and I do have European heritage, German, so maybe I just got that in me. But Paula said, great underwater shot there. Thank you, Paula. Mindy and Chris are talking. Love the footage. Thank you, Mindy. Tim, the smoke haze in Melbourne is really bad right now. Benny says the new fins look like they're going well. The fins are fantastic. They do make a difference. You wouldn't believe how much. I didn't know they made that much of a difference, but they definitely do. Tamilovich is Serbian. Asks Paula. Where are you from? If I don't mind, in Missouri. From Paula. Yesterday the smoke haze was all day. It was so muggy. By the way, you know me. If you guys chat, I'm going to read the chat, because this is the day of the week when we can interact together. That's why I pay so much attention to the chit chat. If I miss something, alert me to the fact, because this is a conversation to be had, right? A two-way street. There's a mic bump. A two-way street, folks. Chris says Tamulovich is a Lithuanian name. There you go. Aero Gamer says, I love how the GoPro picks up the individual droplets of rain. Do you know, I was trying to edit those out. I was actually dropping the audio down on each droplet of rain, and sometimes it just got too difficult to do because it's very loud, right? Because it's right on the microphone. So I don't like that, but it kind of sounds cool for a bit, but not while you're talking with this. It's like someone tapping the microphone while you're talking, yeah? Not very cool. So why do you keep doing it? I don't know. I guess I should stop. Okay. Hilarious video, Mindy says, love the wave of days. I was genuinely concerned about water getting onto the iPad and ruining the iPad. It came down like, you see me say something like, what did I say? Something about slipping all over the board, and it's starting to rain. And then literally I put the camera down, went to paddle for a wave, cooked it, and it started smashing down. Very, very cool. Mindy says, Benny says, you did well considering the ocean's mood. That wasn't too bad out there, I didn't think. I felt kind of comfortable in those conditions. Hopefully that storm puts out all the fires. Yes, you would say that would definitely put out all the fires. If it hits the fire areas, which I think it is. Chris says, yes, with your accent. Thank you, man. Thank you, Chris. Who did that? Who subscribed there? Philip Hollands just became a giver by subscribing. Hey, thanks, Philip. Cheers, my friend. Hopefully that storm. Chris, Paula, yes, nearly all the fires are out now. And now we got flooding, right? We went from fires to flooding. Benny, get some footage of some of the locals maybe. I'm sure they'll be putting punters on the beach when it gets serious. Yeah, I mean, the trouble is the easterly wind. If that was an offshore wind, I'm sure there'd be dudes out there smashing the beautiful barrels, right? Tim says 7 kilometers away from the Melbourne CBD and it's hard to make out the buildings due to the smoke haze. Yep, that's what we had here too. It's hectic, man. So you got fires burning right now, Tim? Is that what you're saying? Or is that just the smoldering smoke from the fires that are being put out by the rain? Aero Gamer, I meant visually of the droplets. Oh, you mean the droplets on the screen. Ah, okay. I hate that. I hate when there's water droplets on the front of the visual. I meant New South Wales. Hopefully the rain will carry on to Victoria, says Paula. Folks, what I want to do is I want to show you the forecast here, in particular the swell forecast. I don't know if this is going to work. I've never done this before, but I hope this... There you go. This is my phone. So let's go to the app, the Wiley Weather app. I haven't done this before. Let me know if this is working for you guys. It looks good on the screen there. The display looks fine. So this is loading the forecast for my area. Now, what you can see here on this chart, a couple of different ups and downs, right? Now, unfortunately, you can't see my finger pointing at anything, but I can move it around and I can tap something here. So if I tap one of these, we're now looking at the swell forecast. And if I go up to the top right-hand corner and click the Now button, it puts this center line down to where we are. So if I drag it across, it moves it in time, right? So if I go back to now, the center line. So we are looking at the swell height and the direction. Now, if you can't see, Robert Muller in the chit chat. G'day, Robert. How you going? Paula says looks good. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Robert. I know there's a slight flicker. I'm not sure why it flickers every now and then like that, but it does. Chris Tamulovich, my brother tried to get me into surfing last year. The waves wasn't in the cards when I planned. We had a scuba dive before and I used scuba kayaks. Cool. That sounds like fun. So what we're seeing here, folks, is that's the swell conditions. Right now, the swell at 10 a.m., which is 20 minutes away, is coming from the east-northeast, and it's 2.8 meters, which is considered a rough swell. So that's what we're looking at right there. Now, if we drag along to when I'll be out there, probably around about midday, given the time of the stream and whatnot, it's going to be the same. The swell is still going to be 2.8 meters and in rough conditions. But if we go back to yesterday, so yesterday I surfed at about 8 a.m. So we go back to yesterday, the swell was at 8 a.m. The swell yesterday was 1.9. Why can't I get to 8? It won't let me go back to 8. Only let me go to 9. That's kind of strange. It won't let me go all the way back. That's very strange. So anyway, at 9, it was a 1.9 meter swell yesterday. So today, at midday, we're looking at 2.8 meters. So if we went forward, You see this chart. Look how high. Look at this freaking swell, folks. Oh my Lord. At its peak on Sunday night at 8 p.m., we're going to be looking at a 6.2 meter swell. 6.2. That, look at that chart. That's gone from, it's well over double, right? Double 2.7 would be 5, right? We're at 6.2 at the peak. Holy crab apples. And not only that, folks, but when I look at this chart, I look at these other measures. Now, the waving line you can see going up and down like that, that is the tide. So at a low tide, so right now, be pretty shit. It's at a high tide. At a low tide, that's when the best wave kind of sucks up and forms a nice barrel, if you like. Only on an offshore wind. Now, what's an offshore wind? That's a wind coming from the west. If you tap on the wind forecast, which is this one here, so this is the wind forecast now. If we go to now and just slightly after, the wind is from the east-southeast and it's 36 kilometers an hour. So by midday, that wind is coming from the east-southeast at 40 kilometers. Now that is onshore wind. Onshore wind with a large swell. Now, arguably, the swell isn't so big today, but holy crap. And look at the wind tomorrow as well. So the wind goes from today, we go forward to tomorrow. I'll probably be out there tomorrow at about 8 a.m. 44 kilometers from the southeast, strong. And the swell is freaking massive, and holy shitballs, folks. Now, that's what we're looking at there. In an ideal world, I would surf, if I wasn't doing my Wave a Day project where I've got to go to the northern point of Culburra Beach and get a wave, I would go into Jarvis Bay. Why would I go into Jarvis Bay? Well, I'd go there because that's a place that doesn't pick up much swell unless the swell is freaking massive. Now, unfortunately, it's got to be a southerly swell for it to come into the bay, but being 6 meters coming from the north, there's a point there that it would wrap around and possibly suck all the way into Kalala Bay. Hendrik, you'll know where that is. If he's in the chit chat, I don't think he's here. And that could make some good surfing spots in Jarvis Bay. But my project is a wave a day, every day for the month of February on the northern point of this beach. So I have to stay at this beach. I'm a stickler for the rules. I made this rule. I created the rule. I generated the rule. I came up with the rule. That's the rule. Benny says you'll be able to get some great large wave footage. I mean, yeah. Will the cyclone affect the swell of WA? Is there a cyclone? I didn't know that's what it was. I didn't know we were looking at a cyclone. Mindy, now that video would be exciting. Hey, my chat's not reloading itself. Oh, no, there you go. Could be some houses on the northern beaches going into the Pacific, Paula. Yeah, I mean, on that northerly swell, for sure, some of those points like DY and whatnot, they're going to get hammered, right? Like, I mean, yeah. Let's just take it down a notch and factor in that I may not go out today. I may not go in the water, but I will do something. I will do a wave. I don't know. I don't want to kill myself, obviously. Yeah. But folks, that's not the content we're going to discuss here on the stream today. In fact, we haven't even touched the content. The content I want to discuss, is there a risk that Instagram ruins locations? Now, when I say locations, you know how everybody's a photographer these days? Like everybody's got a cell phone, can take a good photo. So there's spots that have been kind of not hidden, but spots that have just been known to locals for many, many years. And locals would go there and hang out and you know, do whatever they want. Maybe it involves photography, maybe it doesn't. Just whatever it is, it's a local's kind of knowledge. Social media, and in particular Instagram, have kind of blown shit out of proportion. Now, I had to go and take my iMac into a repair center, which is about an hour and a half to the north of where I am right now. The place is called Albion Park. It's just a little coastal town, sort of, I guess, not even halfway between here and Sydney. So a pretty nondescript town, but there is a pretty beautiful place right there on the coast. It's called Kiama, and to a further degree, a little bit further north, Bombo. And at Bombo, there's actually a place called Cathedral Rocks. Now, Cathedral Rocks has been known for years to be a pretty rad spot. Beautiful scenery, and I'm going to show it to you here. But when I was there, I put a phone call to my friend Danilo, who's a photographer. He's a landscape photographer in this area, and he's been smashing it for near on 20 years. This is his website right here. If we wanted to just peruse it, we can have a look at it a little bit later, but this is his work. D. Kramer, he's a German, Slovenian actually, D. Kramer Photography. We can have a quick look at this, but what I wanted to tell you about was select by region. You know, we'll come back into that momentarily, but what I want to tell you is I was down in that area, and I rang D because he lives not far. He lives on the inland from Albion Park into the Macquarie Pass is where he has his gallery. So Mindy, please stay safe, Benon. Yeah, thanks, Mindy. Yeah, and there are king tides coming too. David says, stay safe. If it's too dangerous, we're happy with some huge wave footage. Yeah, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Thank you, guys. Have Faffy Day in the chit chat. G'day, Faffy Day. Yeah, I'll definitely remain safe. I won't be stupid. I'll do the right thing, and I'll do the right thing. So I rang D and said, I'm in your area. You know, I was going to swing by and see what you're up to. He didn't answer, unfortunately. So then I thought, well, I'm going to go to the quarry, the Bombo Quarry and Cathedral Rocks and have a little look. In my mind, I was thinking this could be a great live stream location for streaming from Stevan. I wanted to see what the 4G reception was like. So I got there and I rang D and he said, oh, dude, there's some really cool stuff there. Unfortunately, it's all been blown out. He said, I took one of the first photos of this spot. It's a cave, right? It's a little... So Cathedral Rocks is this big thing that juts out of the ocean. Looks like a cathedral, looks like a steeple, right? But you can see it from inside a cave and it looks sick. And D's like, yeah, I took the first photo of that really put it on the map, and now it's a fucking wedding location. Like people take wedding photo shoots there. He's like, yeah, the whole thing's completely out of proportion now. And I kind of felt a little guilty going down there. I'm not going to lie. I felt a little guilty taking some photos, of which I want to show you some of them right now. But the guilt was definitely there, right? I didn't really love doing it, but this is one perspective of Cathedral Rocks. Not the greatest perspective. These are all just happy snaps on my mobile phone. I guess you can see that the landscape there is kind of unique, right? Like there's got like there's a lot of sand. There's openings for water to come through. There's bigger ups and downs. There's rocky outcrops and whatnot. That there in the background is the Cathedral Rock. A beautiful spot, right? Beautiful, freaking beautiful. You got some nice textures in the rock itself. I kind of get blown away by that. Just the textures of the rock. Like how does rock form like that? Like how does it get lines and grooves? They're almost straight lines, like they've been chiseled. Very, 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 very interesting. Very cool. That there off to the left is obviously the Cathedral Rock, and that one in the foreground is just something else. I'm not sure what the name of that is. A great location to do some paintings, Benny. Yeah. I mean, you don't often see, like, in Australia anyway, you don't often see, like, very straight up and down rock ledges to sandy beaches. I was personally thinking I should do a model shoot down there. I should take a model down there and use this area. That's what I was kind of canvassing it to try to get myself motivated to put out a pitch to some models and go down there and do a shoot. But that's the cave I was telling you about. So you can, it kind of stops where it looks like it stops. It doesn't go much further back than that. But what that does give you is a great perspective to look back out from the cave and you see that. So that is a pretty cool view, right? So if you're in there and you somehow manage to get in there without messing up the sand, you can get a great shot looking back towards Cathedral Rocks and a nice flush sandy. You could even get the water coming in, get some reflections on the water. And there's Cathedral Rocks. But that's a strange photo because that's not what it looks like. That's me getting super low to the angle to try to get the reflection. You might not see that if you're there. That was just happened to be a rock pool that was pretty much dead still at the right time for me to get the angle upside down. Looks like a lava flow. Mindy, it could be, yeah. Robert says, strike patterns in stones is usually caused by layers of sediment that have accumulated over time. A large contrast, beautiful Australian coastline. Totally, man. Like, totally. I mean, look at that. Look at that beautiful line down, like in the sand, all the way out to the water, and then the Cathedral Rocks. Absolutely stunning place, right? Stunning place. Again, a great. I could picture a model laying down there and me getting a beautiful lit up with the reflections on the ground. I want to do it. I'm going to pitch it. I'm going to pitch it to somebody at some point. But the question was to my friend Dee. I wanted to see how did he feel about this, and he was kind of saying, "Oh, dude, you know, it used to be rad, and now it's all over the place." So what I want to do is I want to go back to Dee's website. Let's go back to his website here. Go and have a look at his Illawarra and South Coast gallery. Now, I don't think... So we're looking at... by the way, this is the area I live in, Shoalhaven, but we're looking at the Kiama region. This is the region where Cathedral Rocks is. Now, I don't think Dee has the shot of the cave here, unfortunately, but you can definitely see... I mean, here's what you can do with Cathedral Rocks, right? I mean, look at that. Freaking stunning, yeah? And I guess the motivation there is, why wouldn't you want to go down there and try to emulate that? Like, if you saw that on Insta or something, where is it? I want to go and try to get my own shot. So I can understand this is some of his work. Look at that. I mean, that is the exact same... That's the exact same angle I had, except I got lower and closer. But Dee's got the Milky Way in it, right? So he's gone a little bit... You know, he's an actual landscape photographer. I suck at landscape. This is in the area. Some beautiful work there from Mr. Kramer. Now, this is the Bombo Quarry. Very strange land formation there. The quarry, right? It's like a disused mining quarry. Very cool stuff. Some beaches down by the area. There's the quarry again. I guess that's the same shot, but from the side angle. Yeah, so the first shot would have been looking through... Oh, the second shot would have been from here looking across. You'll see again. Yeah, there you go. There it is again. Look at these birds perched up there too. It's almost like evil, right? But yeah, that's the question. The question I had to Dee, and unfortunately he can't commit to a live stream. I was trying to get him on here, but he couldn't really commit to it. But I want to go across to Instagram and just have a look how badly this has blown out of proportion. So if we go back over here, so this is Instagram. If we do the search for the Cathedral Rocks hashtag, right, what are we going to see here? Like, do we see mine up front? Because I did tag one, didn't I? I didn't tag one. Well, there's one right there. Look. I mean, the question is this a bad thing or is this a good thing? That's a beautiful photo from that space, right? Do we... There's a video. Beautiful sunrise with the bushfire affecting it. Not so good. Look at that, folks. Wow. That's beautiful, right? I mean, I might have got it wrong from Kramer. I might have got the message wrong. He might have been saying it's blown out of proportion, but he might have meant in a good way. I mean, putting this... Oh, look at that, dudes. Look at that. How do I make that bigger? Oh, shit. Like that. Look at that. Wowzers. So you get the feeling for what you can do down there, what you could achieve if you went down there yourself, right? Cathedral Rocks. That's not obviously Cathedral Rocks. Milky Way with Cathedral Rocks. Hell yeah. That's sick. Robert says, I reckon Insta will ruin locations same as Facebook. Now there is a story there. I want to do a bit of research on this. There's a place called Figure 8 Pools. Figure 8 Pools. Does everybody know about Figure 8 Pools? What went down there? So we're now getting into areas that are not... Okay, that's it, yeah. This round ball craze. That looks sick. So if we do a search for Figure 8 Pools, this was a situation, Figure 8 Pools. This is a place further north from here. Now the situation here, and I'll let this open up so you can see it. I mean, look how cool this is, right? Look how cool this place is. Let's just scroll through a few random. Look at this. This is further north from where we were just momentarily. But there is a catch to this place, and I'll explain the catch in a moment. That's nowhere near it, by the way, that one there. That's pretty cute. So you want to get a sexy woman there, right? That's the idea. You want to get a sexy woman in a bikini. Hey, that's beautiful. Look at the sky. Shiche. That's nowhere near it. Oh, that's the beach. So you definitely need you definitely need a bikini woman there, right, for the shot. So I want to tell you a little bit about this location, just briefly. So to get to that spot, now that spot's been there obviously for years. Like I grew up in the area, so I know about figure eight pools. I've never been there, but I know how to get there. It's a long walk from a car park. The trouble is, it only works at a low tide, and it only works for a particular amount of time. Now, what we found happening, and this is a direct relation to social media, not necessarily Insta, but definitely social media. As soon as people pumped that content onto social media, everybody came down to find it. Everybody, like people came from interstate to find figure eight pools. Before social, it had been sitting there. You know, maybe you get a family or two there once every 2 weeks or whatever, you know. You've got to hike a long way from a car park. You've got to go down a very steep ravine. You've got to get onto this rocky ledge. And then when you're there, you've got to be there at the right tide. Now, what happens? It's a big rocky ledge, which obviously juts onto the Pacific Ocean. Now, that ledge, when the wave picks up, like when a swell comes through, that whole area just gets hammered with the wave. So the wave comes right across the whole rocky ledge, covering the figure eight pool, you know, covering everything all the way to the edge, to the rising land, if you like, so the edge of the mountain. So what do you think happened? Of course, what happened? You get 30, 40 groups of people coming down all at the same time. They all want to have their time with the figure eight pools. They don't want to get anybody else in the shot. You want just the bikini model and that's it. You want the water nice and still. So they're all clamoring around the pool waiting for their time. Of course, a big set of waves comes through. Nobody thinks, hey man, if that wave breaches and comes over the top, we're all fucked. And of course, that's what happened. Multiple waves came over, pushed everybody across, sucked them all over the rocks, and that's a rock. You know, that's not weed or sand. That is rock. So people were getting like mauled and pushed everywhere all over it. People died. People died because of this unfamiliarity with the coast. Now, there's an example of social media ruining something for nearly everybody, because now I understand there are signposts everywhere, and it's all blocked off. Like, to get there, you've got to do a bigger hike to go around all these fenced off areas. It wouldn't even surprise me if they fenced off the freaking rock face, to be honest. There's another one not far from there called Wedding Cake Rock. Now, what's Wedding Cake Rock? I'll show you. Let's go back over here. Wedding Cake Rock. This is one that's... sorry, I got distracted by sexy women in bikinis. Let's go Wedding Cake Rock. Wedding Cake Rock. There we go. 29,000 hashtags for the Wedding Cake Rock. So this is a place, again, not far from here on the East Coast. Look at that rock. I mean, it looks like a wedding cake, right? It looks like a tiered wedding cake. That's not how you take a photo there. Look at it, though. Isn't that sick? Isn't that beautiful? Now, these are examples of beautiful photographs, Insta style. People have died here by sitting there. I believe nowadays it's all roped off. I believe you can't even go out there anymore. It's all roped off because of this, right? Because of Instagram and because of people dying, because of people trying to get the shot. I mean, you can see that there's a risk there that the whole rock may fall off itself. I mean, and you don't get a second chance here, right? If you tumble off there, you don't get a second chance. So I've got places down here where I go. Gosang's Tunnel. I've shown you Gosang's Tunnel. Has Gosang's Tunnel popped on Insta? Let me just have a quick look at that, folks. I don't even know if it's popped. Gosang's Tunnel. Let's go and search for Gosang. Gosang's Tunnel. Gosang's Tunnel. It's only got 1,000. So this has not popped yet, folks. Gosang's Tunnel's only got 1,000 hashtag posts on Insta. So maybe we haven't actually popped it yet. It looks kind of similar to where we were before. Beautiful spot, right? Very cool. That's it there. That's what you look at when you pop out of Gosangs. Xander, how you going, Xander Round? Hey all. Xander, you might be a good person to get a English perspective. Do you think that Instagram and social media has killed locations? We were talking about locations here in Australia, but I'd like to know about some UK locations that have been killed by Instagram. Now, this is one called Gosangs Tunnel. Hasn't actually been killed yet, but the one that we were actually looking at, Wedding Cake Rock, or even Figure Eight Pools, this one has definitely been killed by Instagram. People have died there. This is a beautiful location, but as you can see, when the wave pulls over this rock, you need to be out of there. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand just how deadly that can be, how much movement waves can generate. Yeah, very, very strange stuff. Very, very scary stuff, folks. But very, very beautiful position. Very, very beautiful spots. So I understand why people want to go there. But what I'm questioning is there a responsibility from a content creator to maybe make some kind of duty of care, like a call where it's like, hey, if you go down here, probably should check the tide, probably should check the swell, probably should check how far it is to the nearest emergency services. Do you have cell phone reception? Who knows you're going there? Is there a duty of care for someone, or is it a case of, here's a great Instagram photo, good luck imitating it, you may die. Got to get the shot for the gram no matter the risk. That's pretty much the way it is, isn't it? Got to get the gram. Paula says, Robert, are you talking about the backpacker? That was near Byron, I think. I mean, Figure Eight Pools, the place where a backpacker went missing, I did not know about that. Let's go across to here. Let's do a quick search. Figure Eight Pools death. Figure Eight Pools multiple deaths. There we go. Let me just make this a bit larger. Make that a bit larger for you. Figure Eight Pools multiple deaths lead to renewed calls to close access to social media hotspots. See this, folks? I just said that, didn't I? I said they would close this shit. There are calls for a popular New South Wales tourist destination to be closed following multiple deaths. You know what are we seeing here? We're seeing humankind not being smart enough to look after ourselves. Why are people dying at these places? Because they're thick. They're not being smart enough. And now the powers that be are saying, well, if you people can't be smart enough, we're going to ban you from going there. What kind of a world do we live in where we can't look after ourselves? Hamish Ferguson, how's it going? G'day, Hamish. How do you do, my friend? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. There are calls for a popular New South Wales tourist destination to be closed following... Hey, you know what, folks? What we should do here, I forgot about this. Let's open up the call-in line. If you want to call in and give your point of view, I'm going to go to the Discord. Do you guys know the Discord? You know my Discord? If you're not on my Discord, you won't know how to get to this. So I'm gonna actually go in there now, and I'm gonna also pop an invite. I'm gonna pop an invite in the chit chat. There's an invite. There's a link in the chit chat to today only. If you want to jump in to the Discord to have a voice conversation with me about this, I'm in there right now. If you do come in, for the love of God, please make sure you have headphones on and a microphone. Otherwise, there'll be a big feedback loop. I'll see you, though, when you do pop in, if you do come in. So let's continue reading this. What destroyed by idiots now? Exactly. G'day, Angus. How you going, man? Angus in the chit-chat, too. Angus and Hamish. Angus, you know Figure Eight Pools, right? Being a New South Wales resident, they're thinking about closing it because people are dying there. So emergency service has called off the search for a 22-year-old international student who was washed from the rocks at Figure Eight Pools in the Royal Nasho, south of Sydney on Monday. The National Park, we call it we call it Nasho. The Nepalese national had been visiting the popular location with a group of friends when he was swept off the platform at a high tide and did not resurface. This is exactly what I was saying, right? People that don't know the coast, don't know the risks associated with the coast. A very easy mistake to make. I'd be afraid of sounding insensitive if I called in. Mindy, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Benny Crawford, if folks don't have basic common sense, it's their fault. Gene pool looking more promising if they smoke themselves being stupid. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that, Benny. Xander Round, sad thing is a lot of the dangerous looking photos are photoshopped and people don't realize they put themselves at risks for the same shot. Really? Okay, so what we're seeing is faked images. I mean, I would definitely suggest that that may be the case at, if we go back over here to Wedding Cake Rock, this one here, if we go back to Wedding Cake Rock, I would suggest some of these potentially might have been photoshopped. Although, I mean, I don't know, that wouldn't have been. That's not a photoshopped image. I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. Been wrong a lot of times. That's not Wedding Cake Rock. By the way, that there, folks, right there, that's not far from where I do my yearly YouTube video. You know, the one that's on my channel, the yearly one. I'd call in, but you'd hear rain in the background. No worries, Robert. No worries, buddy. I get you. You'd hear rain in my foreground. I don't know. That doesn't look photoshopped either. Although she must love pink. I like that colouring. What I'm seeing here, folks, is you've got to have a smoking hot woman as Photoshop myself into a smoking hot woman. Just dangerous, right? Dangerous. Dangerous. But let's continue to read this news report here. The Nepalese national... A man once disappeared underwater, but was... A second man disappeared underwater, but was able to climb to safety with only minor injuries. So there's almost 2 deaths. Obviously, it is sad, but it's just frustrating how many drownings keep happening, said water safety advocate Professor Rob Brander. This one in particular was totally avoidable and unnecessary. Professor Brander is now calling for the area to be closed permanently to prevent further deaths. I mean, why do we have to suffer because there's tools out there? It's not just figure 8 pools, it's the Sea Cliff Bridge where you get people scrambling up behind the bridge to take pictures and they're falling off the cliff. You want to see what that one is, folks? Let's have a look at this. Sea Cliff Bridge, man. This is a beautiful... You know what the funny thing with this is? Sea Cliff Bridge. These are all within an hour or so of each other, all 4 of these. So this spot here, the funny thing with this, or not the funny thing, but the interesting thing here is that little stretch of road, that's all it is. It's just a little meandering that goes around a bend. You see it there again from a different angle. Now, why are people going there to get that photo? What's the deal with a little windy bit of road? Here's the thing, right? That's a pretty rad shot. Here's the thing. That kind of a road all over the place in France, Italy, Spain, everywhere you go in Spain on the coast and even in Italy, there's roads like that. So why is Australia... What are they doing? They're going to go and sit there and watch the freaking road? Huh? I'm looking at a road. It's so stupid. I understand if an architect wanted to get a shot of the road that they designed, but this is just Instagrammers going there to sit in front of a road? Are we losing it entirely when that is a thing? Sitting in front of a road. Is that a thing? Is this a thing? Apparently it is. Angus Ferguson, they roll back everyone's freedom, Benon, happening every day after these sort of incidents. Yeah, totally, Angus, totally. It's a shame, isn't it, man? What the hell? Like, why is this a thing? How did we get to a point where this is a thing? I don't get it. I don't get it. Sitting in front of a bend on a road. Are these guys high-fiving the road? I like the way the road bends. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the actual hell, folks? Of course, there's that spinning, sparky thing. That's great on the coast of Australia when we just had major bushfires. I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. I will probably never get it, but I don't get it. David Prettybread. I think people start thinking so much about themselves and social media appearance, they forgot about responsibilities for family and loved ones, the ones that really count. That's true, David. That's true. North Rump. The next thing you know, you won't be allowed to leave your house. Yeah. We need to start pushing Instagrammers into the ocean. Let's not go too far. Ignorant visitors not heeding warnings. New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Services have a warning system on its website which predicts wave conditions in the area and warns visitors when it is too hazardous to visit the pools. This week's incident occurred at the park at a high tide, at the peak of a high tide. Well, you're an idiot for going there at high tide, right? And the forecast wave risk at the location was listed as extreme. I mean, realistically, I'm glad we don't do that in the USA. Push people off cliffs, pushing Instagrammers into the ocean. Professor Brander said the online resource is a strong tool but does not go far enough. It's a brilliant resource, but I would just wonder how many people are actually using the resource to time their visit. I suspect not many. Tourists have no idea that you can really only visit a couple hours either side of low tide, I told you, and never when there's large waves. I mean, we've known about this for 20 odd years. Since I've been a child, I've known about this. I've never even gone there, right? I've never gone there because it's like, there's plenty of other rock pools, right? Someone puts up a scantily clad bikini model and all of the world wants to go to this place all of a sudden. It's crazy. People fall to their death at the Grand Canyon every year. Xander, I must admit, I only this week Googled photo locations in New York City. Oh, are you going to New York City, Xander? I mean, there's a whole abundance of photo opportunities there, isn't there? Let me guess. You're gonna go and take a photo of Casey's office. You're gonna stand out the front of 368. You're gonna get a helicopter ride across New York City. You're gonna take a photo from the helicopter, looking down through your feet, so you see your feet and New York City underneath you. I guarantee. Oh, not guarantee. I can predict it, Xander. What else will you do? You'll go down to that pier where Casey always runs, and you'll run for some reason. I'm not having a go at you, Xander. I'm just doing what everybody does when they go to New York City. You know, we know firsthand how to not do it in New York City, thanks to Jay Boston, but everybody does it, any of them, anyway. Benny Crawford, case closed. Muppets dancing themselves into somewhere they have been warned about. Exactly, Benny. 100%, Xander. Yeah, there you go. None of these people could swim. Yeah, there you go. Surf Lifesaving New South Wales CEO Stephen Pearce has reiterated the importance of checking conditions before entering potentially dangerous areas. We continue to urge the public to stop, look, and think before walking on rock platforms, especially when conditions are as treacherous as they are at the moment. It's not only our beaches that are dangerous in these situations, rock platforms pose a significant and unpredictable threat. There's that too, right? These rock ledges could easily collapse, coincidentally, the time that you're there. Am I right? Like that, do you want to be on a rock ledge when it collapses? I don't. SD Ram Dark Shadow in the gives a minute call-in line. SD Ram Dark Shadow. I see you there, my friend. I see you don't have a microphone though. Very strange. SD Ram, can you hear me? I can't hear you, dude. I see you there. I see you don't have a microphone. Anyway, we'll continue chatting until SD Ram Dark Shadow wants to let me know if they do have a microphone or if they do not. Why do people go by the water when they can't swim? Exactly. Robert Muller, 26,000 posts of figure eight pools on Instagram. Yep, there you go. High concentration of idiots, says Benny. Nethercote Falls, Pambula, New South Wales is a great waterhole on the south coast, but some idiot died from jumping on the rock for social media, ruined the spot for locals and tourists again. I'll tell you a funny story about, well, not a funny story, but an interesting story about a jump rock. So my friend Danilo Kramer from D. Kramer, we showed his website briefly before, this guy here. So this is his website, D. Kramer Photography. He's a friend of mine from way back. So I told you about his gallery. Let me show you his gallery. Let's go and see if we can see his gallery. Upcoming gallery days. Above, down, under. Where's his gallery? I guess he hasn't got his own gallery up there. He's got a link to Instagram. Okay, that's a shame. He doesn't have a picture of his gallery. That doesn't matter. So he lives in the Macquarie Pass National Park, and he has a property that's basically on the edge of a creek. Now, I've been there a lot on the vlog. You've seen, I celebrated my 40th birthday there, if you want to go back in history and check that. And there's a jump rock, because the Macquarie Rivulet runs right past his property, and you walk up at about maybe 2 or 3 kilometers, and there's a big rock that opens up into a big swimming hole. and it's popular. A lot of people go and do that walk and jump off the rock. Dee was telling me people lose shit in there all the time, like wristwatches, Apple Watches, phones, diamond jewelry, bracelets, anything that you think you'd lose while swimming, people lose in this waterhole. And Dee had been seeing people lose shit for years, and he's like, okay, we're going to go up there with scuba gear and lights, and we're going to go and cash in, get all the gear we can, right? Take all the stuff from the bottom of the pool, try to get it back to its rightful owners, but also try to make some money off it. And no shit, the day that they were going up there with their scuba gear, they met someone coming back who'd just done the same thing, and they had baskets of jewelry, watches, Apple Watches that were still running, heaps of stuff, right? People lose stuff all the time in these places. That's just a side story, right? The jump rock. If you ever lost something, if you've ever lost something while swimming in a waterhole, nearly always someone's found it again. Just the nature of, if you go in there with enough light, you can find it. But I've never heard of Nethercote Falls, Pambula, New South Wales, but never underestimate the ignorance in the general populace. I'd agree with that. I'm just checking the Discord again. SD Ram, I still see you there, man. SD Ram, are you just in the call-in line but not chatting? I see you there, man. Is anybody SD Ram Dark Shadow in the chit chat here, or is that just someone that's randomly popped on to the Discord server? Possibly just wondering why I'm live there. Mindy, this year or next, I'm going to hike up to Angel's Landing in Zion. If I fall, I know I die happy. Do not close it. Yes, and you know what? Let's do this. Let's have a quick look. What's it called? Angel's Landing in Zion. Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing. I mean, you could argue that I'm giving this exposure. How do you spell angels? Not with a B, right? You could argue I'm giving exposure here to these places by doing this live stream talking about it. The difference is we're giving solid advice about being smart, not just going over there and getting the Instagram tags, right? Oh, wow, folks. I mean, that looks insane. What? Mindy. I think it's random. Xander, didn't Sam Holder's brother die from a cliff jump? Yet in every video he jumps off a cliff into the water. I don't know who Sam Holders is. Who's Sam Holders, Xander? Is he an Instagrammer or a YouTuber? Hey, Xander, while you're here, let me ask you about... That looks beautiful. Let me ask you about... let's get back out of there. Let me ask you about YouTube. You're a YouTuber. Now, you did make a little jump to D-Live briefly. I think you jumped back, though. You haven't really done anything more on D-Live. Let me ask you a question about... What do you think is going to happen once the studio beta is finished? Because we see a lot of updates to the studio beta. There's new this, there's new that. We've tweaked this, we've tweaked that. Everything's better. This and that, this and that. It seems like the focus from YouTube is to get this studio beta into its final state, which obviously would be the best thing for everybody. But how long are we looking at? And once it's done, what's YouTube going to do at that point? Once they've completed the studio beta, what are they going to do? Because I've got a not a thesis, but I've got a speculation here which I want to present. I'd love to get your take on it as well. I feel like YouTube are working so hard on fixing or making this studio beta experience the best they can, and so therefore they can ignore everything else. It's like, well, we're trying to fix this for you guys, so we'll forget everything else that really does need fixing, but here is the studio beta, and once the beta is out of beta and it's in alpha, what are they going to then turn around and say we need to fix? Sam Calder. I still don't know who that is, man. I've heard the name Sam Calder. Let me just jump over here and say Sam Calder. Sam Calder, brother, death. Okay, so this guy looks like he died in a canoeing accident. By the way, canoeing, great Scrabble word. All 7 tiles if you play it first. Holy shitballs, great stuff. Get out of there. The body of Mississauga man who has been missing in Alcoquian prison has been recovered. Okay. Police divers from OPP's Killaloe detachment located the bodies of Timothy Calder, 19, and Georgetown resident. Okay, Calder, a member of the Canadian Armed Forces and graduate of Cartha Park Secondary School, was canoeing alongside Marrow when their canoe capsized. Well, that sucks. So that's not a death, not a cliff jump death. His canoe capsized, potentially hitting his head. Maybe, I don't know. I guess Xander, I guess you're not here in the chat, Xander. That's a shame. So we touched on this at the beginning of the stream, and I guess we can kind of touch on it as we wrap the stream up. I feel, as a content creator, I hate that YouTube keep on giving these guidelines, these analytics and comparisons and A/B testing, thumbnail testing. Put your video here and look at the pie chart. It starts off here with impressions, then it goes down to click-through rate, then it goes down to the percentage, then it goes, and the pie comes all the way into the triangle. And it's like, all these things supposed to help you to get more views on your video, when we all know that only YouTube, the powers that be in YouTube, can get your video in front of people. Nothing we do, like you could make the best thumbnail in existence, nothing we do will change what YouTube do in the back end. So it feels like all of the extra little tweaks they make to the studio beta and all these little creator insider videos, which I've stopped watching months ago. I despise creator insider saying to you, if you start doing A/B thumbnail testing, you'll see more views. It's absolute bullshit. It's a lie. It's not how it works. YouTube decide what content they want to promote. Nothing to do with A/B thumbnail testing and click-through rates and look at your pie chart and all that. It's nothing to do with that. It's YouTube deciding who they want to promote. If it was to do with those things, don't you think people like PewDiePie would have to follow those things? But he doesn't. PewDiePie does none of that. His thumbnails are garbage. He doesn't do A/B testing. He just puts out content and gets millions of views. Do you know why? Because YouTube promote his content to 12 million or whatever it is, 45 million subscribers. YouTube choose to do that, like they choose to not promote other channels. It's nothing to do with the content. I had a comment on my channel this week, Xander, and I'm talking directly to you just because I know that you jumped across to DLive and then you went back to YouTube, or you didn't jump across, but I'm saying you started on DLive and you didn't follow through, but you're obviously still doing YouTube. All these Daryl Eves channels and all these like how to get more views and how to get a better click-through rate, all of that is bullshit. And YouTube know it, and they try to confuse you by giving the studio beta. How long is this thing in beta for? It's been 3 years we've been in beta. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big smokescreen to take away from the actual thing that's really happening. YouTube choose who to promote. We told already about it, Stephen Colbert, all the late night television shows that don't need to be on YouTube. What's YouTube again? A place where you, me, anybody who's nobody can get an audience. YouTube. Do these people like Stephen Colbert and David Letterman, do they need to be on YouTube? No, they've got major network television contracts coming out the wazoo with cash, giving all of that resources and all of those views across cable television or internet, whatever it is. They don't need to be on YouTube, which is a place where if you don't have those networks, you don't have the big studio set up, you don't have the contracts with Hollywood, you can still be a YouTube star, you can still be a personality. So why do they promote the late night talk shows? It makes no sense. And oh, that was Chris. That was you, SD Ram Dark Shadow. I got you. That was you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for letting me know. Xander, I've honestly stopped trying to figure out YouTube, and I'm concentrating on becoming a better creator, photographer, editor. I mean, that's exactly what I would advise to anybody. I would say ignore all of the Daryl Eves, ignore all of the creator insider updates, ignore all of the studio beta updates, ignore all that analytics where it says your channel received less views in February. this is because less people viewed your content. It's like, no shit, YouTube. I understand that I received less views this month because less people saw my content because you chose to not put my content in front of those people. My content's the same. My content hasn't changed. You guys chose to not put it in front of people. So don't give me a little chart saying, look at the triangle starts up the top there with the impressions, the click-through rate, the retention, the conversion to subscribe. That's a whole smokescreen to take away from the fact that they're saying to you, we're not promoting you. Bad luck. Xander says, I simply haven't got time to do D-Live, to be honest. That's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Just make videos and hope one pops. That's the thing, like, there's no guarantee for a pop. Of course, there's no guarantee. And there's no guarantee for a not pop. You just make content. Someone commented on my channel this week saying, love your content, man. You've got such a good variety of content. It's all over the place. I love it. It's a shame YouTube are killing you with the algorithm. I'm like, yeah, that's a shame, but that's the way it's been from the very beginning. The only way, in my mind, the only way to successfully guarantee a YouTube channel will succeed to the likes of the top ones that are constantly getting promoted is to become friends with those creators. And I said earlier in the stream, if you were friends with Shane Dawson, right? If you were personal mates with Shane, if somehow your roads connected and you ended up becoming personal friends with Shane Dawson, you appeared in one of his videos and all of his 14 million subscribers or whatever it is, 18 million, whatever he's got, even like 10 million of them came across to your channel, you're automatically getting the promotion from someone who's being promoted from YouTube's end. So YouTube are promoting Shane Dawson, so therefore Shane Dawson promotes you, and therefore you get that exposure. That's not a guarantee to last, but that's definitely a boost. I mean, look what happened with like, will this last long term? I don't know, but what's his name? Cody Warner. Look what happened with Cody Warner. He got the bump from Mr. McKinnon, Peter McKinnon, and then it all petered off, right? Excuse the pun, it petered off. You know why? It's because I think Cody went into that route of how to be a successful YouTuber. Do this, do that. I'm good friends with Daryl Eves and Roberto Blake. Do this and you'll be a better YouTuber. That stuff is just business. That's how to make business. That's how to make YouTube a business, selling a happier life to people. That's like your ultimate pyramid scheme. Is it not? I thought I heard my outro tune rolling. Yeah, that's my thoughts anyway, folks. I don't think there's any change to YouTube. I think YouTube have always chosen who they'll promote, who they won't promote. It was me for a little while. I took a little bit of a ride, and then all of a sudden they said, no more. It's not going to change my content. I'm still going to create Gives a Minute content. I'm going to diverse myself on D-Live as well. That's where we're at. I'm happy for that. I'm very happy for that, actually. I don't know if I have any answers, but it's a great conversation. And I know that this stream will probably also get pushed right down in the algorithm, right? Because I'm talking about why it's wrong. So that'll automatically get flagged down. That's a shame. And the time issue, Xander, around, I would love to, but it boils down to time and money. I completely understand that. Time is very critical if you're creating content. Unfortunately, right now, I'm running out of time. I can hear my outro music rolling, folks. I'll see you all next week on the stream. Ask Me Anything and Jack Opening. See you all then. Thanks for the stream, folks. Good times. Oh, that's we're out of time.